Hey y'all. This is gonna be my live stream review of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 11 episode 5 titled Give Them Grace. Um I'm not really gonna edit this much. This is gonna be pretty raw. I'm just trying to read my notes here and also keep in mind that I'm live, so let's just get into this. But if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back. And now let's get into it. It starts off with Spice and trying on outfits and stuff. And if you hear that, this sound, that's just me moving my mouse. But it starts with Spice. She's trying on clothes, and she says it's the day before she leaves for the Cayman Islands, and she's feeling pressure because she feels like she has to bring it more than she has before. And she says she feels like it's because she isn't able to perform like she used to, and she has to have a bomb outfit so they might not realize that she isn't moving how she used to. Let me take a sip of water real quick. And then Shekinah comes in with a serious face and all that, and asks Spice and her stylist if everything's cool. And I'm like, girl, I know you're worried about Spice, but let her move just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. And then in her confessional, she kind of says that she's excited Spice is getting ready for the Cayman Island and that she's going to be with her. She's excited too. But then Spice tells Shekinah that she has something to tell her and says that while she was on the crying tour, when she was in Atlanta, she was crying for sure. And she kind of says, "Oh hell nah." And Spice says, sorry, that was my light." Spice says that she got into it with Meda, and how Meda said that she's trying to stay out of stuff between her and Carly, between Spice and Carly. But Spice is like, no, Meda's supposed to be her friend and all in. And when she was sick and all that stuff, Meda was all over Atlanta with Carly. And then she kind of asked Spice, is Meda going to the Cayman show? And Spice says she has no idea. And she kind of says that she hopes Meda does come. Spice says that she was yelling at the top of her lungs, trying to get her point across, and she feels like Meda might feel a way about how everything went. And then she kind of tells Spice that her best friend don't want people around, talking about Meda. And in her confessional, she kind of says that even ever since Meda started hanging out with Carly, she isn't acting the same anymore. It says all of a sudden Meda didn't want her to come to the DR, causing friction between her and Spice. And then she kind of says that she's going to take it upon herself to meet up with Meda to figure out why she really didn't want her to go to the DR, and says that she's just going to let it go after that. And because I don't understand Spice and Shekinah's little friendship, they kind of get into it about Shekinah talking to Meda about why she didn't want her to come to the DR. And Spice is like, well, ask Meda, stop, asking me and, saying the same shit over and over and over again. And Shekinah's like, well, she's not asking Spice. She's just telling her what she's going to, say to Meda. And then Spice says that, she's gonna leave well enough alone, and then Shekinah leaves. But then Spice yells to Shekinah to not miss the flight to Cayman because she's always late. And then in the next scene, it says 2 days earlier, and we're with Jessica White, and she's laying in her bed, and someone is telling her that she needs to get up because they're going to the emergency room. And Jess says that she doesn't want to because she doesn't feel like going there. And in her confessional, she says she's having a horrible pain in the right side of her body and it's making her want to vomit, and that the pain level is 100. And she says that she was supposed to do a photo shoot that day, but her body, has never given out on her like that. And then apparently it was her sister helping her get out of the bed. And as she's walking away, she's clearly in a lot of pain. And in her confessional, Jess says that she's so grateful that her sister's there with her. It says that she can't think or she wouldn't know what to do if she wasn't there, because the next thing you know, she's being rushed to the emergency room and that she feels like she's dying. It says that she's just in so much pain and she doesn't even want to exist. And then you see her walk into the emergency room, and then you see her again at the house on her phone, and then her friend EJ King comes in. And in her confessional, Jess says that she just wants to, she just got out of the hospital and says that she couldn't move or walk and says that she's very depleted. Um, EJ asked Jess why she didn't call him, and she says that she started cramping real bad and her stomach started to swell, and then she threw up, and then she says that she found out she has two fibroids inside of her uterus sitting on her ovary. And she says that the crazy part is she's been going through this for years, and that they didn't see it, but says that that's what happens. That's what they do. They mishandle black women or don't listen to them when they have medical concerns, and that's some real shit for real. They don't ever listen to black women when they're in pain, when they're happy, when they're sad. It's just, well, endure it, endure it, endure it. And it's like she been going to the doctors all this time, and it took now for her to feel like she's dying for y'all to just like figure something out. That's not okay because they don't do that with any other demographic. But anyways, in her confessional, Jess says that you have to take your health in your own hands. And then EJ asks Jess how she is really feeling, and Jess says that it's depressing and it reminds her of all of the miscarriages that she's had over the years and how the doctors missed it because she's had this 10-pound mass sitting on top of her reproductive organs, and of course, she wouldn't be able to carry any babies, and now she's just finding out why. Yeah, especially after 8 years with Nick Cannon, that's fucked up because, of course, they would go to the doctors and figure out like why, like what's going on, and y'all can't tell me that these doctors don't be saying that shit on the ultrasounds and on the X-rays and stuff. You can't tell me that they don't, and it's just frustrating. And in my opinion, they should be getting their medical license taken for that shit because that is some stuff that could have been handled. And now you're telling me that someone has died or it could possibly not ever have kids because it's taking y'all damn near 10 years to figure out what is going on with this lady's uterus. Anyways, um, she says in her confessional that she and Nick were trying to get pregnant and that they both equally wanted to have kids, and that um, the man that you're in love with, was having babies with everybody else. And she says that she felt like half of a woman. Ma'am. And you know what? You hear a lot of women saying that they feel like less of a woman because they can't carry kids. And because that's what our bodies are made for, right? And I know she feels bad because he out here popping it wide, spreading it low, building the whole B613 team, spy network, but it's really the doctor's fault. It's not even hers. And I mean, it's just messed up. I hope she does get her little happily ever after. But Jess tells her friend that do you know all the scars you get, going through public miscarriages, and how all her miscarriages were public, and how people says that, oh, she can't carry a baby, and then EJ says that the joke is how many kids Nick has, and that's not an easy thing. And Jess says, and then seeing him with somebody else, and she's going through all this and he knows it. In her confessional, Jess says that maybe she is supposed to be a mother and that she still struggles with the idea if she could actually do it, and then she kind of just shrugs. EJ tells her that as her friend, he'll be there with her to go through the process of getting healed and stop making and hiding, and or go through the process of getting healed and stop hiding, and that she, or pretending that she's okay. And true, because she just seems so sad in my opinion. Like, I feel bad for her, and it's like Nick has snatched up all the self-esteem that she has. And even though she's a model and models are supposed to be, A1. This man has depleted her, or she has allowed him to deplete her. I guess I'll say that because, I don't want no men coming in the comments talking about, oh, y'all, you so hard on black men. Who gonna be hard on y'all? Anyways, in a confessional, Jess says that she's mentally decompressing all the trauma because she carries all her stress in her womb, and she knew psychologically that everything that was happening was just a side effect of everything emotionally that she bottled up, and that's why she advocates for therapy and says that she didn't do it for herself fast enough. And it could have also been all the trauma that Nick was literally fucking into her and all the other women that, he's been with. Like, y'all don't realize that sometimes, no, not even sometimes, most of the time, when you're with a guy and he mad or something before y'all, do it, or it's just tense, and afterwards he's feeling all chipper and shit, and you're kind of just like, okay, I feel okay, but then like he leaves, and then you feel like, nah, that's because that nigga fucked all his trauma, his aggression, and all his frustration throughout from the day into you. That's literally what it is. And then she literally said that it's because she has fibroids on her ovaries, but also it is because of the trauma that man is literally fucking into your whole body. Like, sometimes you just can't take it. But then EJ asks Jess if she can freeze her eggs, and she says that she's always wanted to have babies and she just put it on the back burner. But now she feels like she might have to start thinking about freezing her eggs. And then EJ asks her, is she scared about anything? And she responds and says that she's scared about everything. That's the end of their scene. And then we're with Spice again. She's arriving at the Cayman Islands, and people are waiting to take pictures and stuff with her. In her confessional, she says that by the grace of God, she's there, she's excited, and she's feeling like herself. What I want to know is who's paying to see my girl Spice? Like, was this something that was already planned before she got sick? Is this a private event? Like, what is this? Because I'm excited, and I know I'm late. My bad. That's my door. And I know I'm late and I'm behind on the episodes, but I'm still excited to see who exactly this was that paid to see her, because I know they paid a hefty penny, child. Anyways, um, she says that by the grace of God, she's there and she's excited and she's feeling like herself. And then she tells Shekinah that after all the health problems she's been through, she's really happy to be there and that it's a big day for her. And Spice says that they have to go to the radio station first to let people know that she's there. And in her confessional, she says that it's sad to know that everywhere she goes, she feels like she has to explain to her fans, but she feels obligated to give them an update of what's really going on so that they know that she's in a better space. And then Spice gets out the car, and it's a line of people waiting for her, and she says she wasn't expecting it. In her confessional, she says that they're so excited to see her, and it gives her a warm feeling. And it's really nice to see her appreciated, especially after the current events. It's really nice to see her appreciated and, loved on. But then she kind of asked Spice, what's the tea? And asks, is Meda coming? And Spice says that she doesn't know. And Meda says that she was, but she, didn't see her. And someone tells Spice that she knows Meda's her friend. She kind of tells Spice that she knows Meda's her friend, so she better start acting like that. My bad, y'all. I type these notes, fast. So if I'm kind of just reading a little of whatever, it's because I typed something that I knew what it was at the time, but I didn't realize that when I went back, I wouldn't really understand it. But she kind of was like, she told Spice to stop acting like that because she know Meda's her friend. And Spice says that she doesn't know whose friend she is. That's the problem. And then she kind of says that Meda is Spice's friend, and she tells her that she knows damn well that she kind of showed her Meda on Instagram with Carly, talking about, is this your friend? Is this your friend? That's what Spice said. And then she kind of says that it don't have nothing to do with that. Spice says, sure, she does. She called her out of her bed talking about, Spice, did you see her? This is what Spice is saying that Shekinah did. She, called her out of her bed saying, did you see Meda and Carly out hanging out and partying and shit? Shekinah says that it it wasn't against Meda. It was more of Carly's trying to steal your friend. Telling Spice that. Spice says that she knows Carly is trying to steal everything she got. Shekinah says that she can't. Um, that's why she wasn't fucking with Carly. She was like, Carly can't steal her because she not fucking with her. And then she asks Spice if she thinks Carly's coming because she always seems to pop up on her. Spice laughs, but then she kind of says she thought Spice had more friends coming. And Spice says the friends from the DR coming. And Shekinah claps and says, Hallelujah. And then Spice says what's important for her is to stay focused on getting this bag at the Cayman. That's the end of their scene, but let me get some water real quick. All right. So we with Amy, and she says that South by Southwest was awesome in her confessional, but now she's back and real reality is her top priority. And getting her sisters and her mom back together is major. So they can get out of, the BS and back to business, and more importantly, back to family. They always say business before they even say family. So I noticed that with everybody, not even just Amy. But then her sisters show up, trying to see what they're about to be getting into. And in her confessional, Amy says that her sisters definitely bring out the fun side of her, and that she wants to be in a space where it's not all about business, and that they put the messiness behind them. Amy tells her sisters that she doesn't like how the last time they met up, um, how everything went with them, and her sisters nod, and then they all play around and have a little fun with the little paintball thing they're doing. And then Amy says that she misses this, missing them having fun. And then Raynell says that they had to get in their sister time in real quick. And in her confessional, Amy says that without their mom and her strong opinions and energy, she and her sisters actually vibe real well. It says that after their last conversation with her sisters at the restaurant, she realized it's not them, it's actually their mom. That's a problem. And it's like, well, whoop de doo, but I don't know, the way she went about cutting her mom off, it wasn't really that nice. She could have went a better way about it, in my opinion. But anyways, she says that it's about their mom, not giving their sisters what they deserve. And then Raynell tells Amy that she wants to continue doing Pretty Kitty and that she never wanted to leave her hanging. And Amy is smiling all hard and shit and says that, that was a big concern for her because she could get plenty of people to do the job, but nobody does it like her sister. And then Raynell says that she was getting irritated about the fact that their mom wasn't pouring into what she had going on, but at the same time, she can do her own stuff by herself. And then Amy says maybe Raynell needs to communicate that to their mom individually. And then Angie cuts in and says that she's going to have a talk with their mom soon, and hopefully they can get on one accord and that their mom can help her with the things that she was supposed to have already helped her with. In her confessional, Amy says that for the sake of her career, her mom will still help her out with Pretty Kitty, but she has to be completely hands off with her music career so she can grow and be stress free. And, this will give their mom in return a balance so she can focus on her other sisters. Amy tells her sisters that normally she tells, oh, hold up, because I just lost my spot. Amy tells her sisters that normally she tells their mom that she has an option, but this isn't one of those times, and that she hired somebody else as her manager. And then Raynell asks Amy if she's really going to tell their mom that. And Amy says absolutely. And Raynell laughs. And Angie says that their mom is going to kill Amy. And Angie apologizes to Amy for leaving their last conversation how it did, and that it wasn't really directed towards her, it was more towards their mom. and that if she was rude to Amy, that wasn't her intention at all. Amy smiles and gives her sister a hug and says that she accepts her apology. And then Amy tells them about South by Southwest, but says that Khaotic kissed her, and her sisters are like, stop playing. And in her confessional, Amy says that she didn't expect for Khaotic to kiss her, and that it was very strategic how he did it. It was off camera, and he called her beautiful and kissed her, so she doesn't know, and that it's one of those complicated things. Amy says that she's confused because um every time she turn around, he's with Erica Banks, and when she's around, he's flirting with her. It says that after the kiss, Khaotic was holding Erica Banks like in a straddle position, walking with her. It says that he's not about to make shit messy with them. And her sister says that what the hell, that was a plot twist. And again, like I said, he is a little something something that she had on the side when she bored. And any other time, it's like, okay, well, it is what it is. But I think they okay together. But I don't know. I think he wanted Erica Banks more. Okay, but the next scene is with Jessica White, and in her confessional, she says she's meeting with her doctor that her friend recommended to her, and that she is a powerful black doctor who can give her answers about her health. And then Dr. Hawkins asks Jess what's going on, and Jess explains, how she went to the hospital and then that they found something on her ovaries. The doctor gets into the sizes of her cyst and says that it's pretty significant, and the way that she was describing it for me, it's just so scary and it's frightening that literally she had 7 centimeters, or that's what she said, 7 meter cyst on one side, 3 meter cyst on the other. And that is what women go through, real women go through. And I'm not getting into the whole who's a real woman, who's not, because at the end of the day, y'all know what's up. We can have another conversation. If y'all want a video about that, let me know in the comments. We can talk about that later. But it's just frightening that that's really something that you have to go through. We didn't ask to have periods. We didn't ask to have these body parts, these functions, and then when they don't work the way they should, it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. And again, I just feel like Jess has just so much stuff going on, too much to be on the show already, because the shit is just messy and she just got a lot going on. I just hope her health really just gets better. She tells her doctor that she is severely sick, and then the doctor explains that where her fibroids are located, it makes it possible that that contribute to her having kids. And Jess told the doctor 38 and then having a visit to her, and then she asked her, I think she asked herself, like, will she ever be able to have it, because it sounded like she was in the confessional, but they still showed her at the doctor's office. And then her and the doctor kind of just stare back at each other. In her confessional, Jess is crying and says that she's grateful to have answers now, and says that Dr. Hawkins is going to make sure that she's healed and then able to have children. The doctor lets Jess know that the best time to get pregnant is within 6 months of her surgery, and Jess says, "Oh," with a little grin on her face, saying that she needs to start being nice again then. And in her confessional, Jess says that it feels good to know that she's in front of someone who's not only listening to her, but is teaching her, and that she finally found a doctor that she can trust and who she feels advocates for her as a black woman. And then the scene ends. And then it's just really terrible how many stories from other black women who deal with the same thing, same issues that Jess is, and it's not a joke, and it's never been a joke, and it's frustrating beyond anything because black women don't get heard, like, not the way everyone else does. There's constant stories about black mothers dying in the hospital because a doctor didn't listen to her complaints, and it took just 8 years with Nick Cannon, and I don't know how many miscarriages for her to finally receive help. And it doesn't matter how famous you are or how much money you have, nobody listens to a black woman. Everybody mentions Serena, but let's talk about Jessica White. Like, she's not as popular, but come on. Don't nobody care. And it's really fucked up. But moving on. Now we're with Amy and her mom, and they meet up and they hug. And I noticed that they love eating outside, and they love eating outside because the shit be getting lit, and they don't need that inside. I noticed that with this little family, since they want to be called the Black Kardashians, right? But she meets up with her mom, and they hug and all of that. And the mom's name is Jazara, and she gets right into Amy's ass, asking her where she's been, and is like, you don't call your mom no more. And then Amy says that she's been busy, but she just got back from Texas, and she got right back into the studio. And Jazara is like, but you still can't call your mom. And Amy is trying to like lie real quick, saying that, it's not that, it's just that she's been busy, but that she will always call her. And everybody know what the fuck busy means. Girl, you trying to avoid her. But then Zara's really not trying to hear that shit and says, well, do better, with a grin on her face. And then confessional, Amy says that she's meeting up with her mom for dinner to simply let her know that she has to fall back. She take her hands off her neck and her music career, and to start focusing on her sisters, and says that she's praying for the best with this conversation. Amy tells her mom about how great Texas was and how she got a lot of nice connections, and that her mom says that it's nice that she has a good team behind her, and that that they're all working hard, and she loves it. And Amy lets her mom know that Texas was so perfect without her being there, even though she was there spirit and on the phone every 10 minutes trying to clean it up real quick. And Jasar was like, wait a second, what you just say? What you mean without me being here? And Amy says, in a reassuring voice, that the trip went well, and says that things can go well without her. So, so hands on, and that she can trust that what's going on, that she will bring her back good news, and that she knows that her team got it, and she knows that she can fall back. That's what Amy tells her mom. And then Amy's mom is nodding her head in agreement and is following along with what Amy says until the fallback stuff. And then she's like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. Amy's shaking her head and says, well, the sisters and her got together without mommy. And Jazara claps, but in a shady way, like, go for y'all. And then Amy tells her mom that the conversation she and her sisters had, and that she fully agrees with, if that is that their mom has to back off for her career. And Jazara is clearly getting frustrated and tells Amy, that she's sounding like that it sounded like they had a powwow about their mom, and now she's kicking her out. And Amy says that she's not kicking her out, and Jazara says, well, that's how it feels. And I'm not gonna lie, if you watch the episode, when Jasara started getting pissed, the wind wherever they were sitting outside started getting hella windier. Like her hair was going all over the place, and I felt like that was just the mother's wrath. Like she was just so hurt, and the wind was just, she was just airbending that shit. You feel me? But in her confessional, Amy says that she has new management team now, and her mom just simply has to respect it, and that this will give her more time to spend with her sisters and growing their business. And my whole thing is why didn't you tell her this before that? Maybe she would have understood, but now you just spraying on her like, damn, you just firing her now all of a sudden out of nowhere. You already got somebody new. That's fucked up. You should have let her know that she was fired. You didn't even give her 2 weeks to find somewhere else to work. But anyways, Amy asks her mom if she looks at her like a grown woman now, and her mom immediately says yes, she does. And Amy says, well, you gotta act like it then. And then Jazara asks, how doesn't she treat her like, a grown woman? And Amy tells her mother that she doesn't think she hired a good team, and that she doesn't think she makes wise decisions. And as Amy's going down her list, the waitress comes out and she's making shit awkward, trying to hand them their food. And then they both start right back up, and Amy says that she's starting to think, hold up, because I just lost my spot again. Damn. Where did it even take me? Okay. Um Amy, as they both start right back up again, and Amy says that she's starting to think that she has to assist her mom on falling back. And Jasara tells Amy that she's there for her, helping her do what she needs to do to branch off her businesses. And the bottom line is that she isn't going to fall back. Amy says that's the problem, and Jasara says now she's done with this dinner, and Amy says why, and Jasara says because every time um this happens, it's a backlash that she gets, and Amy says what them being vocal is a backlash, and Jasara says that she doesn't call that them being vocal. And then she gets up and to leave, and she says she calls that them being ungrateful, and tells Amy to have a good dinner and walks away. And that's the end of that scene. Um, like I said, she could have found it a better way because it really did sound like, oh, she met with the sisters and they just convinced her to fire her mom. That's what it sounded like, and not that she came up with the decision herself after talking with her sisters and contemplating on her own that she feels it would be better for her mom to not be a part. She didn't say that. But now we're back with Spice in the Cayman Islands and her confessional. She says she's excited because tomorrow is her first actual performance since her health scare, and that she wants it to go smoothly and still have fun. But right now she wants to enjoy the moment. And the ladies are getting makeup on and getting dressed, and Spice's phone rings. And Shekinah says that it's Meda calling her, and then it's an awkward silence. But Spice answers, and Meda is like, guess where I am? Hee hee hee. The Cayman Island. And everybody in the room makes faces like, I know this bitch lying. And then Spice asks Meda if she's really there in the Cayman, and Meda says, yeah, what you thought she wasn't gonna come? Come on now. Meda and Carly love to do the pop-up game. I do not like that shit. I don't like that shit. And then Spice is just looking at Meda on the FaceTime like. And in her confessional, Spice says she never really thought Meda was going to come through with her plans to come all the way to the Cayman after how they left off in Atlanta. And then Spice tells Meda that she thought she'd be at the club with Carly, and she knows that part. And the Spice's friend in the back, her name was Simba, is making faces, and Meda says, "Oh boy," here we go again. And then she says that whatever, she's always been by Spice's side, and that whenever she needed her, she's trying to be there for her, and with their friendship. And Spice's friend Simba rolls her eyes, and then in her confessional, Spice says that she feels like Carly took her best friend Meda away from her, and that she needed her. um in her confessional, Spice says that she feels like Carly took her best friend Meda away from her, and that when she needed her the most, Meda was the most consistent person for her, and she feels like maybe she did overreact at the gender reveal. And then Spice tells Meda that she's getting ready for dinner, and tells her to stop by the restaurant. Shekinah's looking like, I know she didn't just invite that bitch to dinner. And then Simba is rolling her eyes and stuff and says, so the stalker's here. And then Spice asks Simba what's going on. And then Spice says that Meda's her friend and that they're going through a rough patch because she pointed out, what she doesn't like about what Meda's been doing. And I noticed that Spice is real quick to forgive these bitches, like real quick. But Simba tells Spice that Meda is also friends with Carly, and asks Spice how is that gonna work. And Spice tries to spit out why she's all of a sudden forgiving Meda, but didn't really say shit. So Simba says she doesn't understand how Meda is her friend, and showed up to the Cayman, but they were there in Ghana, and Carly and Meda were besties. And in her confessional, Spice says the truth is, even though she's been looking at Meda sideways for what she's doing with Carly, she's just happy Meda's there because she's always been there for her. And to be honest, she just wants it all over. And Angel asked Spice, so when is she seeing Meda? And Spice was about to explain, but Simba says tomorrow. And then Spice says, but she just invited me to the dinner. And Simba shaking her head. I'm just like, well, y'all not listening to the conversation. She just told this bitch to stop by the restaurant. So what are y'all talking about? She gonna meet her tomorrow, and y'all confused when they gonna meet up. Like, pay attention. But Now we're with Scrappy, and he arrives at Khaotic's house, and they exchange pleasantries and all that stuff. In his confessional, Khaotic says that after everything that happened at South by Southwest, he told Scrappy to come over to see his new house and catch up and show him that he has room for him if he needs it. And I'm like, is that shade? You try to call my man's homeless, and then you see later on that, yeah, he's living out his car in a hotel room. But Khaotic tells Scrappy about how he and Amy passionately kiss in Texas, and Scrappy is like, huh, looking at Khaotic like he's crazy. And then he's explaining how he says he gently grabbed Amy by her face, and that he breathed his breath in her face. And Scrappy's looking confused as fuck. And then his confessional, Scrappy says that he doesn't know what Khaotic was talking about or anything, but he unenthusiastically tells Khaotic that, that's good for him. And he asks him, is Amy going to be his girl now or what? Like, what are they trying to do? But then he tells Khaotic that he sees him all over Erica Banks. And then Khaotic tells Scrappy that Erica Banks is on the radar too, but he has to understand that he's single, and until someone appreciates him and treats him like the king that he is, he's gonna keep playing the game, the same game they play. And Scrappy says that that's how he feels. And this scene's about to make me cringe because the king that you are, my niggas, stop, just please. And then Khaotic goes on a tangent and says that and guess what? He's gonna have his way with Erica Banks. He's gonna have his way with Amy. He's gonna have his way with the world. And so one of them take him serious and says that if they both do it, then they gonna be in a polyester. And I'm like, please tell me he's trying to be funny. Please tell me he's trying to be, trying to have a little jokey joke. And Scrappy just looking at him like he's really dumb. And in his confessional, Khaotic says that he would love to have a polyester relationship with Amy and Erica Banks. And he genuinely really sounded truthful about it with all his little heart. And then the producers asked him if he meant polyamorous or polyester. And Khaotic asked, what's polyester? And they said it's clothes. And Khaotic tries to clean up his, word vomit. It says, to be clear, he knows the difference between um, polyamorous and polyester, but the reason he said it was because he feels like that he can wear them both out. Yeah. And then Khaotic says, so back to South by Southwest. And Scrappy says, yeah, he talked to ericamena, and she says that, she always says that she wouldn't choose sides because she was his friend first. But then Khaotic says that girls are going to stick together. And they are not girls, they are women. Let's be for real. And then Scrappy says that while in Texas, ericamena tells him that, he's cheating with Diamond and that he got her pregnant. And Scrappy says that it's all false. But of course, Khaotic gonna pretend like he wasn't the one who told ericamena any of that shit. And wait till Scrappy find the fuck out. He probably gonna want to bank that nigga. Um, my bad, that was my door. But then Khaotic asked Scrappy if he slept with Diamond straight up. And Scrappy says no, but then Khaotic says raw. And then Scrappy turns his head, but then he says he never slept with her at all. And Khaotic asks him, so he don't have no baby do. And Scrappy says nah. And then Khaotic tells Scrappy not to lie to him. Scrappy tells Khaotic that he's played his part in this shit. Like Diamond has been to his hotel room while on tour and they talked. And Khaotic asked again if he's sure that a baby ain't due, scratching his face and shit. And in his confessional, Scrappy says that he's not hiding the fact that he was texting Diamond or that she was in his hotel room on tour and that they talked, but he's gonna stand on the fact that they didn't have sex or do anything extra. And then Scrappy begins to tell Khaotic that at the end of the day, but Khaotic cuts him off and asks Scrappy if he still loves her. And by her, he said Bam, but at first I thought he meant Diamond. But then Scrappy says he definitely still loves Bam, and Khaotic tells Scrappy, well, if he knows that, then maybe that might mean he should try and fix it and fight for it. And Scrappy nods his head, but says that seriously, he's getting a divorce. And Khaotic asks Scrappy, where's he been staying at? Scrappy says that at a hotel in his car. And Khaotic says that he can't be living like that. And Scrappy says that he's got to figure it out on his own now, but says that he's moving all his stuff to his mom's house and that he's going to ask her to cook his favorite food. And, Khaotic trying to joke about getting his shit over there so they can go eat. And Scrappy's like, nah, because he really gonna need help. Don't ask for help now, nigga. Don't ask for help now because you wanted this shit. You wanted it. Anyways, that's the end of their scene. We got the Spice. And all the ladies except for Meda are out for dinner talking about the show that they had to do the next day. And Spice says that she's nervous. And she kind of comes up to the table and she and Spice do their love-hate bickering thing, and then she asks Spice when Meda's coming, and Spice says that she doesn't know, but that they need to have a conversation. In her confessional, Shekinah says that she and Meda don't have any issues, but she feels that Meda tried to keep her out of the DR to appease Carly, and she doesn't appreciate that shit. And then Meda walks up and says, "Hey, ladies," and I think Spice says, "Speak of the devil." And then Spice says hi, and Meda bends to give her a kiss on the cheek, but Spice backs away. And then Shekinah's looking all awkward, but Spice looks at her and says that they're not there yet. And Shekinah says, oh, I don't know. But then Meda says that she doesn't care about Spice's misplaced anger. And Shekinah says, misplaced anger? And Spice asks Meda what does she mean by misplaced, and she has every right to be upset with her. And Meda says, no, actually, she doesn't. And then Spice tells Meda that that's the issue because Meda keeps acting like she doesn't know why that they are in the place that they're at. And Meda tells Spice that she actually doesn't know. And in her confessional, Spice says that she thought that after the blow up at Jasmine's gender reveal, that Meda would understand her priorities and hear where she was coming from, but she really came all the way from Atlanta to the Cayman to keep the same energy and tell her the same thing. Spice tells Meda that she woke up to see her and Carly all over Instagram, and Meda tries to mention when they went to Africa, and Spice says, but even recently they had went out and was doing stuff, and Meda says that she went by herself, but Carly showed up to the party, but that's neither here nor there because she doesn't know what her and Carly's relationship is like. Spice tells Meda that she does know, and Meda says that she knew how Spice felt about Carly before she got sick, but she doesn't know how she felt about Carly after that because they were speaking, and she kind of makes a bitch please type face, and Spice says no, they weren't speaking in the DR, and then Meda says that she's talking about after that, and then she kind of takes the time to bring up to Meda and ask her if she called her to get info to the DR. And Meda says, yes, she did. And then she kind of asked Meda if she told her if Spice's sister said there's too many people out there that nobody else can come. And Meda says, yeah. And then she kind of gets lit and says, okay, if that came from Spice's sister, she was going to respect it and stay in her place and, didn't show up because she was just trying to be a good friend. And then I guess she was just trying to clarify it for Spice to let her know that it literally wasn't that she didn't want to come. It was just because they wouldn't let her. And then Meda says, okay, but take that off her plate though, because she feels like everything is on her. And then Spice gets up and asks if they can just stop arguing, and that they are there for the performance and that she's not going to have them arguing over each other. And, her voice starts to crack and says that she's already nervous and that she's been through hell, and she starts to cry. Meda tells Spice that she doesn't want her to cry or be mad and offers to leave and says that she doesn't want to argue but feels that everybody's ganging up on her. And then Spice leaves the table, and in her confessional she says that she doesn't care about all that. She needs consistency and calmness and good energy, and that her friends are supposed to be that, but they're not doing that for her right now. And then Meda tells Spice that she's trying to figure out how they got there. And the Spice tells Meda that she just wanted her to be there for her, with the same loyalty that she would have had for her. And how Meda keeps mentioning how she was there in the DR, and Spice says that she knows all that. She's talking about what happened after, and how Meda was moving, and how she wanted her to be there with her, but she was everywhere with Carly, and that yes, she felt some type of way. Meda gets into a whole calendar thing about how this shit happened in December and that how it's now March or whatever the fuck. And Spice tells Meda that she knows everything she's going through, that she's her friend. And Meda tells Spice that no, she really doesn't because she wasn't talking to nobody in January, February, whatever. And then Meda tells Spice that she feels like things are being blown up because other people want to throw them under the bus, but at the end of the day, she's there for Spice and says that she doesn't want to fight with her, and they both tear up, and then she tells Spice that, that she's her sister, that her sister and her were the first people with her in the hospital, seeing her with the tubes and stuff, and her not speaking, and that them other bitches weren't there, and that she was there in the Cayman because she feels that she showed up at the Cayman because she feels like that's both their comeback. Felt like that was a little selfish, but whatever. Meda tells Spice that she doesn't want to fight with her because it's their celebration, and Spice cries and grabs Meda for a hug. In her confessional, Spice says that it's if one thing her near-death experience has taught her is that she needs to make sure she's surrounded by the right people and good energy, and she's going to be more selective on who those people are going to be in her life. Spice says that she and Meda needed to get the yelling and screaming out to get them back to the place where they genuinely enjoy each other's friendship. So she's glad she came. They hug and cry the scene away, and then they apologize to each other. And then that's the end of the episode. I still, in my opinion, would not trust Meda so quickly if I were Spice, if I'm being honest. Something about that whole situation still don't sit right, because even I know Carly and Spice wasn't fucking talking when Spice got sick. It's like, nah. But yeah, she should have known not to invite Carly to the DR. And I know this was my first live, and it was very chopped and screwed and all over the place, and um, all that extra stuff. But if you enjoyed this review, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And send it to people, and let me know what you thought in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next one. I'm going to try to get these other episodes out before the end of the week. See y'all in a bit.